fee waivers. This is really important for a lot of reasons. Fee waivers, the LSAC, Law School Admission Council, offers a fee waiver program. You can show financial need. They keep talking about how it has to be extreme hardship. But if you get it, you get, what do you get? 2 LSATs for free. You get the credential assembly service for free. You get a bunch of these reports for free. You get the score preview for free. And now on our end, you get LSAT Demon for free, or at least we charge you a nominal $30 fee. That's the fee that LSAC charges us. So we have to charge you so we don't lose money. But for $30, you can get 4 months worth of the LSAT Demon if you qualify for the LSAC fee waiver. So the LSAC fee waiver is worth a couple $1,000 pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kalyn, you are a brand new LSAT Demon tutor, and you just taught your first class yesterday morning. That was a reading comp basics class that you just taught. Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. I'm really excited to be a part of the team. Honestly, when I heard you guys were hiring, I took the August LSAT, and of course I wanted that 170 range. But when I heard you guys were hiring, I was like, oh my gosh, that would be almost more fun for the next year than it would be to go to law school. So
not almost more fun, trust me. That's quite a bit more fun than law school. Yeah.
So of course I was excited for, you know, my law school prospects, but I immediately emailed and joined the team. And so, yeah, it's been a slow start as I've been phasing out of my full-time job, but I'm really enjoying it.
Amazing. Thanks for being here. We've already heard good things about your tutoring and your classes. So yeah, welcome. Happy to have you as part of the team. Hopefully you'll just stay with us and never go to law school.
We'll see. Actually, just as we sat down here, I got my confirmation that my application was received and completed at Harvard, and I have a few other ones out there, and yeah, we'll see. But I'm nervous after the last show when you guys were talking about the competitiveness of this cycle. Oh my goodness.
Well, you know, great candidates are always going to do fine. There's not going to, you know, yes, it is the most competitive law school admission cycle in recent memory / ever, according to Anne Levine. But, you know, you've got your 99th percentile LSAT score and good grades, I'm sure, and are a strong applicant in a million other ways. So there will be seats available, even though it's a really tough year. I have a feeling it's going to be a particularly tough year at Harvard, though, because of all the deferrals. I mean, the schools that do allow deferrals, which happens more at the top than it does down in the lower rankings, those schools got a ton of COVID deferrals, and all those people now are going to be going to law school this starting in 2021. So yeah, that's going to be a tough one. All right, so what's up? Tell us, walk us through the process.
Yeah.
You applied for the fee waiver?
So I applied for it, and I kind of went back and peeked through it because this was last year. I did it almost exactly a year ago. And so I submitted all my documents. It was basically there. It's really open-ended. It basically just says submit what you have to show things. You need to submit your bank statements, your taxes, but kind of like the person that was on the show you were talking about in the show last week, I sent in all of those things. I think I sent in my tuition because I was currently a student, and I did all of that stuff. And I mean, yeah, so it's just, first of all, it feels a little bit, you know, I'm like talking about personal money stuff, but I also really want to destigmatize those kinds of things because it's like we all have our money situations. And so it's like I want to be like as open as possible with all of this. So basically, I was a student, and I've been independent because I was like technically emancipated when I was like in 18 or so. So I mean, it's fine. But so I've been independent, paying for my own school for my entire 4 years, working, but it was nice because I had my independent taxes and everything. But yeah, did that whole thing. And then I was reading all of these different forums at the time. I know you guys have referred to it before as like stasturbating and like reading everything on Reddit. I did all of those things that you're not supposed to do, you know, just got really in my own head about it. And kind of what I gathered from that as I was applying was there are lots of people that are applying that make $20,000 a year, just right above the poverty line or even right at the poverty line. And they have 2 kids, and it's this whole like really messy complicated story. But the reality is the people that you're competing with for fee waivers are students like me, like I was, who was actually only working part-time for maybe like $15 an hour or something. And my taxes showed that. So, even though I probably wasn't in as dire of a situation as a single mom making $20,000 a year, the numbers reflected that I was more dire than that. And so that's just an unfortunate reality of, what the numbers are showing, even though I was getting a scholarship and all of those kinds of things. So I was initially denied, I'm guessing because, I really can't say, honestly. Oh, I can say actually, they told me I was denied because I had $10,000 in the bank account, almost exactly like the
Yeah.
girl. I'm guessing it was a
Yeah, it
girl
was
that
a
was on your
listener who
last
wrote
week.
in and said she had gotten it was a freelance job that had like
Mhm.
not paid her for a while, and then they paid her all at once. And so when she had to send in
She
the bank
happened to have
statement,
more.
she happened to have 10 grand in there. And then right, okay, sorry, go ahead.
Well, what basically happened was the exact same thing. I had and that amount in my savings basically, and but the truth was, and what I wrote back to them was, I'm paying for the rest of my tuition, whatever was left. I knew I had another semester left of school or 2 semesters left of school. So I just wrote them back and said, yes, I have $10,000 there, but it's money that's going to pay for my on-campus housing. And here's the amount that's going to cost. I got that like as a bill from my school. And you can see that I've paid this much to live in on-campus housing last year. So I'm going to pay this much next semester. And then, yeah, I got approved.
Okay.
It's not that dramatic. It's kind of pretty straightforward. I mean, the most important thing I think to keep in mind is, as unfortunate as it is, it's really just based on what the numbers look like on paper. And I'm guessing they have a set amount that they are going to give out. And so I'm not sure if time of year matters. I applied last August. Yeah.
Um, that listener, we don't have it on the agenda, but maybe I'll read some excerpts from it here. That listener did appeal and was denied. Um, she says, "Hi, just listened to the episode. As soon as I finished listening to the episode, I opened my email to see this message. Apparently, I'm just not poor enough! Exclamation point. And here's what it sounds like when you get denied. Dear, X, I'm writing in response to your inquiries and concerns raised to LSAC regarding the denials of your application for a LSAT fee waiver and the appeal of the decision." Oh, so she actually appealed her appeal and got denied again.
Oh,
3 strikes. I have had the opportunity to review your file and correspondence, and I assure you that everything you have submitted has been carefully considered, including the explanations you provided regarding cash balances in your bank account. Please know that we do not question the hardship or need that you have presented. Unfortunately,
here.
even with our robust fee waiver program, resources are limited and the financial needs facing so many are significant. While you have certainly demonstrated need, others have demonstrated an even greater need and lack of support and resources. These are very difficult decisions, as almost all applicants for fee waivers demonstrate very significant need. Blah, blah, blah. We must adhere to our evaluation process and criteria to ensure that those with the greatest of need are provided the fee waivers out of fairness to all applicants and as stewards of these limited resources. We sincerely regret, blah, blah, blah. This is final, final, final. That's what it said. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Kalyn. What's up?
Well, I just think a couple of thoughts. One is, I think they almost want you to explain away the money that you have in your account. They don't want you to say it's not common, it's not typical, something like that. I think they want you to really say, I don't have it anymore, or I'm about to not have it. I mean, that's, I guess, what happened for me. And I don't know, I guess when I'm thinking about support, my application really demonstrated I didn't have support, and I hadn't applied for Medicaid or any kind of government assistance. And I didn't have family that was supporting me. And so I don't know if those things affected it. And like, that's not really indicative of any kind of difference in need. It's just different choices that I had made, but I don't know if that ended up working against her, unfortunately.
Oh, because yeah, one of the things that she had said was that she had sent in her Medicaid card.
Yeah.
They're like,
I'm
oh, you
looking
have
up.
Medicaid.
You're fine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find my correspondence because I could find everything that I submitted to them, but I didn't see anything that I got from them. But I'm not seeing anything right now. I will say another piece of advice so you get a number of free CAS reports along with your application fee waived from basically all schools. And
Right.
so my thought was, well, I'm already getting so much, I'll just pay the $45 for each of the CAS reports. And I was talking, I know you're making that face. That's
No
what
way.
Carl said to me too. We were talking in the admissions class and he was like, absolutely not. So I went ahead and sent some emails to ask for the rest of my CAS reports to be waived from the other schools.
I mean, that's a $45 email.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. You're not paying for anything. And then, I mean, that's the thing that to me, when LSAC says, oh no, we have to be stewards of these limited funds. It's like, well, wait a second now. Really? Because you made the criteria for where you cut off the fee waiver and not fee waiver. It's not like this is outside funding where there's a limited amount of money that you're
Right.
distributing to people. All you're doing is you're deciding not to charge them the exorbitant fees that you charge for stuff. And I don't
Well,
know.
you'd think my thought is kind of like you were talking about, is LSAT going to get with the times or are they going to stay with whatever 7% number that they've been typically giving out? My thoughts would be, why aren't they just channeling the money that they are saving by doing the LSAT flex maybe into that? It seems like that would be an adjustment that would have, be in COVID times where we have to do this LSAT flex. We're saving money in the administration of it. So simultaneously, so many people are entering poverty and struggling more than they have before. Let's do
Well,
more. I don't know.
and you add the fact that they got a $5.3 million loan.
Oh, the
That
PPE. Yeah.
yeah, is it PPE or
Wait,
whatever it
no.
was?
What's
PPP.
PPE? Oh, PPE is like the
Yeah, your
masks.
protective gear. Yeah. No, the PPP loan, which is strange. But anyways, yeah, I mean, presumably that's to protect payroll, but I have no idea why LSAC's payroll was in jeopardy by any means.
They
In
do have
test of
super broken systems, so they have to pay a lot of people to do customer service for all the stuff that's broken.
But as long as your revenue keeps coming in, right? How is that any different than from before? And revenue continues to come in because they continue to offer the test. And so I'm perplexed by their supposed, need. They have need. And they're turning around telling people that they
There
can't.
wasn't any decline in the like in the LSAT prep business. I mean, there's an increase, right, in the number of people who are interested in law school and
Exactly.
the LSAT. So yeah, they didn't. Right. What was their claim to? Well, whatever. Who knows?
Anyways, I mean, but you're absolutely right. $45 is an arbitrary fee. What's the actual cost of that? Well, there is some cost. They had to develop the program and maintain it. So, but what, realistically, $1? Like $1 for each of those? Like, I don't know if you spread out the cost over all the people and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, boy, to sum up here, I don't know that we've gotten any closer to
No.
figuring out what it is that that qualifies and what doesn't qualify. The only thing that we're sure of is that some people do qualify. I think a lot of people get denied immediately and then succeed on appeal. That would be a very you might think it's mean or whatever, but it would be kind of a smart policy, right? Everybody who applies is immediately denied, but we have an appeals process.
So if you're serious.
That would make sense.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what they used to do for accommodations. Yeah. Before they lost a lawsuit about that. Okay.
So
well,
here's a prediction for you that someone's going to sue them. Their process is going to be blown up. Everybody's going to see it. And then they're going to be like, okay, now everybody can get a fee waiver.
Well, I mean, they can't let everybody have a fee waiver. They do
Well, not everybody,
need
but I mean,
revenue, but
compared to the past.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
It's unfortunate. I guess I just wanted to make the point. It seems fairly arbitrary, but the only advice I could give is if it's something about you have this amount in your bank account or any objection that they give to you when they send you back what the problem was and ask you for an appeal, explain it away. Don't just try and say, because I do kind of see why, oh, I don't usually have this money, but I do have this money is not as compelling to them as I don't actually have this money. And that's what I felt like they were asking me for in the appeal process, was to say, was there actually some kind of an error here?
I'd be careful about what documents you send them in the first place. I mean, don't send them a bank account statement that shows 5 figures in it.
Yeah. Also, let's not commit fraud, but for sure,
No,
yes.
I'm not saying to commit fraud, but they are asking
Totally.
for certain documents, and you could think about what you're providing them when you provide them those documents. I mean, if you plan ahead, I think, I mean, probably what happens is people just apply for the fee waiver at the last minute and they're just scrambling to find documents, and then the documents turn out to not be in their favor. If you did this 3 months ahead of time, you'd be able to like send them the bank statement that shows you as legitimately poor, which you actually are, instead of sending them the bank statement that shows you as artificially rich, which you're not.
Exactly.
Well, the other thing is, how many times are people sending information that they don't need to send? They think it's going to add to their case, but it's like, look, they asked for XYZ, give them XYZ. Don't say, oh, and by the way, see, my uncle was going to help me with this thing, but then didn't. It's like, what? No, just keep the information as minimal as possible.
Exactly, because I can see that working against someone, where then LSAC is thinking, oh, you actually have someone that could support you, that might support you. This fell through, but I could see those things working against you for sure.
Yeah. You don't know what you're saying. That's ultimately.
Yeah, I was really
turning
hoping
against
to
you.
use this money to help my such and such whatever cousin who, and it's like, they're like, oh, well, no, you should use that money to help yourself and help us instead.